Annyeonghaseyo, Europeans Gamescape Up 964 here, and I'm back with another video. Today, I've got for you the Shah Alarm Rainbow Cup Pokemon Go tournament. So, let's get started. So first up here is my team of Venusaur, Ninetales, Azumarill, Quack, Fire, Fortress, and Mantine. So, for my first opponent, I had Benjian1024. His team was very surprising. Look at that. Bayleaf, Almanite, Fluffy, Rapidash, Lapras, Scyther. With the exception of probably Bayleaf and Lapras, the rest are pretty off-meta. So when I got the chance to, when I was match up with him in our first battle, I was very excited to see how can I do against this team. So without further ado, let's get started with the battle. So first up, I led with Quack, and he led with Bayleaf. I was like, oh fuck, I gotta get out of here immediately. So without further ado, I switched out to my Venusaur. And here he did something very weird. Yeah, he swapped to Almanite. But as you will see from his next mon, I can kinda understand, I guess, even though it's a bit weird. So my Venusaur will just take down this Almanite very easily. He has Lapras as his third mon, so I guess that makes sense, but of course Lapras is a better matchup against Venusaur than Almanite. Good lord. So, Frenzy planting that Lapras, he decides to block. At this point, I had a huge energy advantage because I was farming that Almanite, so I had enough straight away for another Frenzy plant, which he will also shield. So now he's out of shields, I have a shield left, and I know by the time I'll definitely survive enough to get off another Frenzy plant to take out the Lapras. So the Lapras goes down. And he brought back out his Bayleaf. At this point, I knew I kind of have the match sealed despite that Razor Leaf. Being chunky my Venusaur a bit. I got my Sludge Bomb off. Nearly knocked out the Bayleaf, but to finish the job, I sent in Mantine, and it's done. So this was the first round. However, I did not manage to record the second round. But just so that everyone knows, I won that game as well. So in the first round, I took out Renjun. Overall, if I had to give a rating of 5, he's a 1.5. And 1 because I give him that much because I love his team. His team is just so unique. Alright, so moving on to the next battle, we got AB7 Forever. First time ever fighting this guy. He has a team of Venusaur, Quack, Lantern, Raichu, Azu, and Fortress. No fire types. Interesting. Let's see how we do. So I started with Venusaur against Raichu. Positive matchup for me. So here we go, the Spine Whipping, Thunder Shocking. And I managed to get to my Frenzy Plant first, which he chooses to block, which is fair. That makes sense. Here I was thinking, he's gotta have enough for Wild Charge, and even though I resist Wild Charge with Venusaur, I did not want to take the damage, so I decided to shield. I managed to get another Frenzy Plant before he gets off his charge move, which he also shields. So at this point I was thinking, that I was counting the Thunder Shocks there, he did not have enough for Wild Charge. So I was right when I see the Thunder Punch. And from here I was like, okay, let's just continue with this Raichu. He managed to get off his his charge move before I did, so I was like, nope. Even though it was Thunder Punch, I was gonna block that because now I can just farm the Raichu, then he swap out to Fortress. Which does make sense because at that point my Venusaur would have been dead after a few bug bites, but I managed to get my Venusaur out in time for my own Quack. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Which is a pretty good counter to the Fortress. Because Stone Edge and Earthquake both do neutral. And Fortress can only hit me neutrally with Earthquake, which he did here. and he did quite a lot of damage. But since he's out of shields, oh, just barely, I got the Stone Edge. Quag is a beast, this card. So with that Stone Edge, I took out the Fortress. Now my Venusaur is free to run wild. Then he brought in a Lantern. I was like, yeah, let's go Venusaur. Even at that health, yeah. Just look at that damage on Lantern. Holy crap. And I had enough to just almost immediately let off another one because I did not want to let my Venusaur go down without at least using that energy. So Lantern goes down without doing much. So he brought back in his Raichu. We both tie KO each other, but because I had my Fortress in the back, I won this game. So first round goes to me, and moving on to the second round. I led with Fortress. He also led with Fortress. So Fortress mirror match. So the key to winning this matchup is to see who baits who. Who's going to go for Rock Tomb, who's going to go straight for EQ. Since I got to my EQ there, I knew at this point he also had enough for EQ. I was thinking he was going to go for EQ, so I shooted that, and it was EQ. However, I did the same right after him, and he also shooted, so we're still pretty even. So we're going at it with butt bites, choking each other down. At this point, I got off my Rock Tomb first, which was a surprise considering he managed to get off his EQ first. And he took it, but he barely manages to survive, and that allowed him to get off his Rock Tomb. Ah, damn, that's unfortunate. So unfortunate. Ouch. And my Fortress went down. But his Fortress had 1 HP, and since that's his only problem for my Venusaur, I knew that I can just send him here, get one Wine Whip off, get a little bit of energy, and just go wow on his team again. That's the problem with not bringing a Fire type on your bench. Putting a Fire type, sorry. So, he brought his own Venusaur, so I was thinking, okay. Fair enough. I tried to bait his shield here, he did not take the bait. I was like, oh god, that's bad. and I was thinking he's probably not the type to bait, so I shielded Surge Bomb. So I made the right call there. But him not shielding there kind of threw me off, so I went straight for my own Surge Bomb. And this time he shields, so I'm like, that hurts. I was thinking, come on, man, please tell me he has a Lantern in the back again. So Venusaurs are going at it with each other. I managed to get off my Surge Bomb before he gets his charge move, so I managed to take out this Venusaur. With my little bit of remaining health, turns out he got Quag at the back, so I was like, wow. Nearly managed to get off my own Frenzy, but at this point I took his Quag down to nearly half health. Now with my own Quag at the back, with the health advantage, so he's gonna get off this EQ here, which hurt a ton. So I was thinking, oh god, please get this Earthquake, please get this Earthquake, please get this Earthquake, please get this Earthquake, please get this Earthquake. Got it! Oh, this was a close battle. Because right after this, he showed me his screen, he had Stone Edge ready, which would have been enough to knock out my own Quag at that health range. So GG's AB7 forever. AB7 ever, sorry, I messed that up. So, he was a pretty good player, not gonna lie. I will give him a 3.5 out of 10. Please bring a Fire type on your team, because that makes it so vulnerable to Venusaur, even with just Fortress there. So up next, we got Lucas Chan 311 with a team of Quagsire, Venusaur, Azumarill, Charizard, Fortress, and Kingdra. You'll see later that I made a really good call in my second battle. I'll explain when we get to that. But to give a bit of a backstory, Lucas is a lecturer at Taylor's University where I study, and he's one of the few people in the group that actually plays PvP. So we do battle sometimes. We practice against each other a few times. This is the first time we ever faced each other in an actual tournament though, so I was very excited to be able to finally face him in an actual tourney. So let's get started with the first match. So in this first match, I brought out my Mantine. He brought a Fortress. Pretty alright matchup, because Mantine can beat Fortress, Fortress can beat Mantine, it all depends on shields. So we're going at it butt bite versus wing attacks. I got off my Aerial Ace first, which does neutral damage to the Fortress because it's butt butt, which does quite a bit of damage. So that's good. But here I was thinking, I kind of expected a Rock Tomb, but I didn't shoot because I wanted to kind of see the damage, and to be honest, that did way more than I expected. So after that, I managed to get off one more Aerial Ace, which he then shoots, which fair play, that makes sense. So after a couple more wing attacks, my Mantine went down. So at this point, I was thinking, this is a bit awkward. I'll bring in my own Fortress. At this point, he swapped out his Fortress for what I thought was going to be his Charizard. That's all Azumarill. Then I'm like, oh, bringing Quack here seems a bit weird, I guess. I guess it will still work. So that's fine. Managed to get an Earthquake off, hit that Azu for tons of damage. Since I had two shields, I was like, yeah, might as well shoot. He went for Play Rough. So at this point, I was thinking, does he not have Ice Beam? Because I know Play Rough does like maybe 10 extra damage than Ice Beam, but still, it's faster. It takes one less bubble to get to Ice Beam before Play Rough. So that threw me off a little bit. I went for the bait with Stone Edge because he would want to keep his Azu he would want to protect his Azu from going down here. So I shielded another Play Rough. Again, that got me thinking, does he have Hydro Pump? Here's where I made a mistake. I was farming up the Azumarill a little bit, even though I had Stone Edge ready. I could fire off the Stone Edge immediately. But yeah, all the energy wasted. So I was like, oh god, my Fortress against the world. But luckily his Azu is at low enough health where Butt Bite is enough to finish it off, and I got Rock Tomb and EQ charged up. So I was thinking, please let there be something in the back that Fortress can beat. So he brought back his own Fortress, who managed to get a charge move off. That sucked, but it was Heavy Slam, so I was like, okay, that's fine. So I was thinking, what could he have in the back? I was thinking if Charizard, I win with Rock Tomb, but oh, Venusaur. Okay, I won then. I mean, even though my Fortress is at less than 50% health, just look at that damage on Venusaur. Venusaur can't do anything to it. I probably should have went for Rock Tomb there because it would have been enough to kill, so that was a bit of a risky play on my end, but luckily that Frenzy Point didn't do enough damage to knock me out, and got the EQ off, which successfully takes out his Venusaur. So GG's there. That was a very close game. Look at that health. Great. So here, in the second game, I was kinda predicting something. I was predicting he would bring out his Kingdra, because I was thinking he might be desperate to use it as a lead with that OP Dragon Breath. So I was like, let me bring in something in front as a lead that will hard counter it. So I picked that Azumarill, and he picked Kingdra. I was like, yes, called it. Damn, got that. So I was thinking, okay, I got my switch menu out. I was expecting a switch, but surprisingly, he didn't choose to switch at all. So I was like, okay. I went for Ice Beam here. I was kind of expecting him to shield here, because Play Rough would have just knocked him out outright. But no, he didn't shield. So I was like, wow, okay, interesting. Then he swapped out his Kingdra for his own Azumarill. So I was like, yep, let's go Venusaur. Venusaur kind of wins this on a 2v2 shield scenario, but it depends also on energy, because he managed to get off a couple of bubbles on my own Azu, he managed to fire off his Ice Beam first. So here I was kind of farming a little bit from extra for Venusaur there. Got off my first Frenzy Plant, which I'll call Seed Box, which makes sense. Just before I got to my second Frenzy Plant, he got off his second Ice Beam, which I had to shield, because at that range it would have nearly knocked me out, if not knocked me out. So I had to use my second shield there. I overcharged a little bit more, went for my second Frenzy Plant, which again, he blocks, fair enough. So because of the extra energy that I farmed, I managed to get off a third frenzy point before he can get his third ice beam, and his Azu goes down. So I was in a pretty comfortable spot with my Venusaur. Then he brought in Charizard. I was like, oh boy, okay. I was going for the Sludge Bomb there, but my Venusaur just died just before I could hit it. So I was like, god, okay, never mind. Brought it back Azu, who can farm Charizard, but at this point he let off a Blast Burn. My Azu took a lot of damage there, and he swapped off for his Kingdra, which I don't know why I again Ice Beam there. Probably should have went for Play Off, because that wasn't enough to knock out the Kingdra, and he managed to get an Outrage off, which was fine to be honest, because I 2 times resist that since I'm a Fairy type, so I was like, okay. That here, I was like, okay, swap out Azu, bring in Mantine, and at this point, I got the game wrapped up. Because no shield scenario, Mantine wins. And even if my Mantine somehow went down against the Charizard, I had Azu in the back with Bubbles. So I think I would have won this regardless. But yeah, going off with Aerial Ace there. Just going to finish off this Charizard. We lagged here a little bit, which is fine. He managed to get off his own charge move, which is Blast Burn. Yeah, which is Blast Burn. It's quite odd to Mantine. But yeah, Mantine just finishes. So GG's Lucas. First time being able to battle you in an actual tournament. It was a fun experience. So if I were to rate you as my opponent, I'll give you a 3 out of 5. Simply because you got pretty unlucky with the leads, and your drafting was a bit off against me. But you played pretty well. It's just the odds weren't in your favor. GG's. So for my fourth battle, I'm feeling really cool, really good with 3 wins, no losses. I was thinking, man, I could actually win this tournament. Then I come face to face with the other guy who was undefeated so far, Sean Wee, 25. He has a team of Azumarill, Gloom, Quack, Macargo, Fortress, and Lantern. This team is really, really surprising. Not gonna lie, the Gloom and Macargo there, sweet. So it was the battle between the 2 undefeated trainers remaining in Shah Rainbow Cup. So for the first battle, I like with my Fortress, because his Macargo, I was banking he doesn't have Ember, so Fortress is a safe lead. He led with Azu, so pretty even matchup, I would say. Because unless his Azu has Hydro Pump, I resist everything and I can do neutral damage with EQ. So he manages to get off his charge move first, which was Play Rough. I resisted it, so the damage was not that bad. I went for EQ, because I need a lot more immediate damage, which he did not shield, so fair enough, makes sense. But here, he swapped out his Azu for Macargo. I was like, yeah, Quack time. I had a feeling he would bring Macargo this game. Don't ask me how, I just knew. So, went for the Stone Edge here, because Stone Edge is neutral, and I knew he would have to protect the Macargo. So he gets off his charge move here, which was Stone Edge. I didn't need to block that. That was kind of my mistake there. His Quack against Macargo is a farmable matchup. I didn't really need to shield anything. But here, I got off a second Stone Edge. He uses his second shield. So I was like, okay, this is good. This is good. And here I learned from my mistake. I did not shield this Stone Edge. Because now I know I can tank it. Look at that tank. So I finished off this Macargo with 2 times effective mud shots, having a Stone Edge and an EQ ready. So I was hoping he doesn't have a Gloom in the bag, because one Razor Leaf would waste all my energy. So I went for the EQ thinking it would be a Gloom. No, he brought back his Azu. So I was like, okay, Azu's gone at least. You need to deal with that. And his last one is Fortress. I was like, wow, this is bad. I had a heavily wounded Fortress and a Venusaur that can't do much to Fortress, so I was like, oh god, this could be pretty bad. So I had to send in Venusaur there, because, yeah, like, what if I keep it in the back and brought it out later, I would just die to 1 charge move. And butt bites, so there's just no point. So my strategy here was do as much damage as I can with Venusaur against the Fortress, getting off 2 Frenzy Plants. And then swapping up to my own Fortress with a bit of loaded energy and a shield. So I managed to shield this charge move, which was EQ. I could have gone for a Rock Tomb here, but no, I did went for a Rock Tomb here, my bad. I went for the Rock Tomb, which luckily was enough to take out the Fortress, and I took that game. Holy crap, that Fortress scared the heck out of me. If I didn't have my own Fortress, Venusaur would be good. So, this was the first round, and again, I forgot to record the second round, but I won that too. So going into round 5, I am undefeated so far. Yeah. So to give Sean an appraisal, he's definitely the best one so far. Based on how do you say, trying to gauge his skill level and whatnot, I would say he's kind of the best, maybe above AB7. I'll give him a 4 out of 5 definitely. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. For my last opponent, the one that is the only one that can potentially stop me from being undefeated in this cup, Marcus EU94. Again. I fought him in Shah Tempest. I fought him in KLCC. No, not KLCC. I fought him in Cyberjaya Kingdom Cup. I also fought him in the Shah Kingdom Cup. I fought him in Shah Nightmare Cup. And now here we are again in Shah Rainbow Cup. The past 3 Shah Cups, we've managed to face each other. He was the one guy I did not want to face at all, cause yeah, he's good. Very good. I mean, look at his team, man. He's comfortable to run Venusaur, Mantine, Charizard, Lantern, Quack, and having a Macargo there. Holy shit. So, I was very, very anxious going into this battle because, yeah, me and him have a history. So, let's just get straight into the first battle. I led with Azu, he led with Mantine. Pretty even matchup again. So we're just going at it with bubbles and wing attacks. I was thinking maybe I could go for Play Ups instead of Ice Beam, but nah, Ice Beam charges a lot faster at least. And I managed to get my first Ice Beam before he can get to his first Aerial Ace, so that kind of helped me there a little bit. As he got off his Aerial Ace there. And we're still at pretty even health after the first exchange of charge moves. But he managed to get a second Aerial Ace that quickly after his first. I did not want to shoot that because the damage was still fine, I could still survive and power a little bit with energy. Yeah, I was going for an Ice Beam. I was kind of baiting him into thinking that I would be going for Play Rough, which I don't know whether it would be KO at that range. But he did shoot at his Mantine, so that's fine. Since I had extra energy in the bag, I wasn't ready to let my Azu go down that easily, so I shielded this Aerial Ace. Because I was thinking, even if he shoots this Ice Beam and I'll go down, I'll have a shield advantage. And if I take him out, better. So he did block it, which is fine. Because he finished off my Azu here with just wing attacks. Which is fine, because I have Venusaur on the back. Now my Venusaur can safely farm the Mantine, because I did have a shield. I'll shield this up against an Aerial Ace. And I can just farm it with Wine Whips because of its low health. So yeah, with the exception of Charizard, I feel pretty safe with my Venusaur. So I was thinking, what could he possibly have? His own Venusaur. So I was like, okay, that's good because he has no shields, I have no shields, I have a lot of energy though. He's the first Sludge Bomb. That took more than 50% of its health. But here I went for the Frenzy because I was thinking, that might be enough to knock it out. Right? It did not. I was like, oh shit, that's bad. Because this allowed him to get off a Sludge Bomb off and heavily wounded my Venusaur. Ouch. To the point where we both knock out each other at the same time. So we were both going like, okay, who's gonna be our last mons? I was correct. He was Macargo. I was like, oh wow, this is just fortunate. I mean, against his remaining mons, the only one that can really stand up to Quack is his own Quack. Because, yeah, Stone Edge will finish Charizard, EQ will finish both Macaco and Lantern. So Quack would be neutral, it will be down to CMP. So GG's Marcus. Your mistake was bringing the early Macaco, which is very hard to use. So for the second battle of this final round, I led with Venusaur. He led with Lantern. I was predicting this would happen. So I was like, yeah, this is a very good matchup for me. Getting ready for him to switch. He did switch. He brought his own Venusaur out. I was thinking, better not switch. Might as well just stay with my own Venusaur. Because I had quite for his Lantern. I was kind of fine with leaving Venusaur out in the front, and he did not shoot the first Sludge Bomb, which is very surprising. Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, definitely Sludge Bomb. I was kind of thinking he might bait me out here with Frenzy Plant, but I wasn't going to take the risk. So since his health is that low, when Frenzy Plant will KO it, I can just go straight for Frenzies. And after the first one, he shielded, fair enough. Here we got a little bit of lag, which is fine. Here I was thinking, okay, please tell me it's a Frenzy. Nope. He's not one to bait shields, I think, because Jesus. Okay, I managed to get off my second Frenzy Plant. And this time he just like get knocked out. Fair enough, because I wasted all my energy on that on the Venusaur, and he can bring in his Mantine safely to kill my Venusaur with wing attacks. So I was thinking, he has Lantern in the back. That's bad for Azu, so I'll just send Azu out now. So this is a rematch of the previous game's lead. He does have more energy after farming my Venusaur a little bit. So yeah, we're just going at it, going at it, going at it. He made a really good switch here, switching into Lantern just before I tapped my Ice Beam. Making me waste all that energy, so fair play on that end, fair play. But I had Quack in the back, so yeah, pretty bad for him. I was thinking, come on, he's got to shield this. Even if it's Stone Edge, he has to shield this because he cannot take any EQ. So I baited that shield. I was thinking he might have enough for Hydro Pump, so I shielded. Nope, Thunderbolt. I was like, oh god, that's bad. That was dumb. But because I had a little bit more energy, and Water Gun takes a while to charge, I got off my EQ. Just nice. Talk about the Lantern. His last one is the Mantine. I don't care how the heck you want to pronounce his name. He lets off his charge move here, Aerial Ace. Fair enough. But luckily my Quack survives just enough for me to get off a Stone Edge, which heavily damages that Mantine. Jesus. Look at the damage. I was trying to switch to Azu there to save my Quack, even though my Azu has enough health to fight the Mantine. Oh god, okay. So, he lets off one more Aerial Ace and goes down after one bubble. There we go. So, I definitely had those games well thought out. My leads were correct, I predicted the leads, my comp was fine. And yeah, GG's Marcus. I did say Sean was the best player I fought previously. I would say Marcus and Sean are at the same skill level, more or less, but I'll give Marcus a 4.3 because he made that masterclass switch with the what was it again? From Mantine to Lantern. That was awesome. That caught me so off guard. That made me waste all the energy for Azu. So you get the extra 0.3% for that. So GG's Marcus, you did amazing. And so I won my first cup after so long. I went 5-0. I went undefeated, and I was glad to be able to finally win after my last victory coming in at Tempest, and after having top 5, top 10s placements. Still pretty good. I was pretty happy to win. So GG's everyone. Thank you guys for thank you Shah people for organizing this tournament. Thank you to everyone who participated. Thank you to all my opponents for giving me very tough challenges, and I hope to see you all again in future tournaments. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Take care, and I'll see you next time.